Good morning, all my friends in Facebook land and YouTube and wherever. Mia will be putting this video to help all my friends and family with real estate questions and needs. And the reason we started this is because a lot of times I have my friends and family and clients asking similar questions. So I just thought, well, why not just answer them in a place here? Now, that being said, I'm always available to sit down and go over all this stuff, but I just thought this would be helpful. So, first of all, I'm Jordana, and I have been an agent for 22 years, an associate broker. And just when I think I've done it all in this business, there's always something new. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to do. So, and to help someone with. So I just want to share that because things are constantly changing, fluctuating. There's certain things that are standard, but there's some things that stay the same like everything else. So what today we're going to talk about if you already own a house, okay, you already own a house, maybe outgrew it or you're moving out of town and you want to buy a new house. And that can seem very stressful. And I've actually done it twice. So I am not just an agent with this, I've done it myself. So I wanted to give you some peace of mind. Can it be stressful? I'm not going to lie. It can be. I mean, last time we moved, I had a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an elderly dog, and we had to sell in order to buy. So was it stressful? I'm not going to lie. It was. But ultimately, we're in the right place that we're supposed to be, and we love where we're at. So you always have to look at the long-term vision. Okay. So a couple things. Um, as far as selling before you buy, or what are you going to do with your current house? Okay, so you go online, you go, oh my God, this house is a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Now we have 3 kids. We really want to upgrade to a 3 bedrooms and we really want 2 baths. Okay, that's fine. People do this all the time. Okay, this is pretty common. Or a situation where someone has a big house and now their kids are grown and they want to get a smaller house. And so, what do you do with your current house, right? Okay, so there's many options. First of all, I want to share. There are many options. And one thing that we kind of advertised about was a bridge loan option. And I want to go back to a minute and say, I have a lot of recommendations, really good recommendations of really good lenders. And those are the people that you want to talk to. You want to talk to the lender and you want to have them explain the options, okay? Because there are many, but I'm going to just kind of um, briefly go through some of them. So, one of them is if you find a house you really like and you have equity in your current home. So, let's just say you currently owe $100,000 on your home, and your home, according to the market, is worth 200. So, in theory, you have quite a bit of equity. Some lenders will give you, and I'm just using a number here, okay? It's not, there's a lot more detail to it, but say they'll give you 100,000 to put on the next house. Okay. So you're selling your $200,000 house, you're buying a $300,000 house, and you have $100,000 in equity in your current home. And they'll give you that in the form of a loan to buy your next house. So that's one option. Okay. I don't honestly have a lot of people do that. And there's several reasons why. I mean, it's a little bit risky because what if your house doesn't sell? You can't rent it out. You don't have an option at that point. Once you close on your new house, you have to sell your old house within so many days. And there's no guarantee about how much money you're going to get, although it should be pretty accurate because you get an appraisal and we do an evaluation and the bank feels comfortable about it. But one thing, I've done two things myself. One thing that I did many years ago was qualified for a new house. And when Mike and I got together and we decided to get a house together, we qualified for a new house together. And we had our current house. We had a new house we were getting in Squirrel Hill and an old house in Lawrenceville that I had. And he had a house in Lawrenceville too. So what we did is we bought the new house or put an offer, and I should say accepted going through the inspections and everything. And while we were doing that, we listed my house for rent. And it was quite an adventure. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite an adventure. And I have many stories to tell now. But we ended up getting a tenant right around the time that we were moving out and already closed on our new house. And we still own that property to this day and we rent it out, both properties. Okay. Another option is that I've had people do is buy first, move out, and then sell later. Again, there's a risk associated. There's always risks, right? What if we think the house is worth 300 and the market shifts and you get 250? Are you going to be okay with that? So here's where I go back again to you need a trusted advisor. Okay. This is the most important thing because what I do is I sit down and I will go through your options with you. It's almost like a social worker. A friend of mine, very good friend for 30 some years, said, who's a social worker, said to me at a closing the other day, I'm a social worker and your job is harder than mine. Well, I don't know if that's true, but it's because I do care and I do spend a lot of time trying to help people figure out the best option for them. So we're kind of giving you a rough idea of how to do this. And I just want to give people peace of mind that it's done all the time. People do it all the time. And especially during the pandemic, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit trickier. I mean, you were up against other cash offers and things like that. We're back to normal times. So I want to say also the second time we moved, we knew the house we wanted. And so we put an offer on it contingent on our house selling. And they could have taken another offer in the meantime, but luckily our house got an offer right away. And everything just, all the dominoes came together. And we closed on both houses the same day, the old house and the new house. And our stuff was on a truck already. And we have been here now for 14 years. We moved here on my son's first birthday. So we have a birthday party here. Look, is there a lot to it? Absolutely. But I do this every day. I help people every day. And I personally have gone through it. And yes, I remember all the details of what I went through because it's not a cakewalk, but it can be done. And like I said, if you look at the big picture, it's always about looking at the big picture. And if you're happy where you're at with the two bedrooms, stay there. I mean, I'm not here to tell you to get a bigger house. If you're happy with a big house and your kids are grown and you want to stay there, stay there. I'm not here to convince anybody to move. But what is the best thing for you to live your best life? And if the best thing to do is to move to a new home, I'm here to help you navigate that. So I want to also say, like I said, before you make any decisions, please sit down. Like if you're working with me, which obviously I would like, but whoever you're working with, sit down with them first and understand the options. Because if you just go blindly and look at Zillow and just go look at houses and want to put an offer, oh my God, I found my dream house, but now what do I do? It's just better if you try to have a plan up front and know your options and really think about the best choices for you and your family. All right. Well, Mia, any questions?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
First question we have is what needs to be true for someone to safely buy before they sell?
To safely buy before they sell. Well, again, there are multiple options. It depends also on your personal situation. This is where you talk to a lender. The lender may say you have to sell in order to buy. So then it's not even an option. Or the lender may say you can buy and you have enough money that you can have two mortgages for a while, which is a choice you can make. Or you can do what's called a bridge loan. And then you take some of the money from your current house to the new house. Like I said, there's another option too, which is an equity loan, which is probably a little bit less expensive because my understanding is bridge loans could be expensive. So, because again, they are loans, there's going to be costs associated with them, higher interest. Um, and you could also take an equity loan. So there's several factors, but like I said, really the most important thing is because it's so many factors, best thing to sit down and have a conversation. Any other questions?
Yes. Jordana, the idea of tent life while waiting for a house to close sounds like a nightmare. How do you help your clients avoid that tent phase and get that same day closing where the moving truck just goes from old house straight to the new one?
That's a really good question, Mia. Thank you for that. Well, one thing that I did myself and I recommend doing is if you can get the movers to move your stuff out the night before and hold it in the truck overnight and then move the stuff out the next day. That is ideal. I mean, I think, and when I did it, it was very affordable. I know some people have told me the costs are really, really high. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, you have to talk to a mover, see what those costs are for holding the stuff overnight. Because remember, when you leave your current house, the house has to be broom swept clean, and the buyer's going to do a walkthrough. So all your stuff has to be out. So that's what I recommend doing. Having, or if you put it on pods, then put it on pods the night before and then have it delivered the next day. It can be stressful. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it can be. I helped a client once and I got to their house or I called them because their buyer was doing a final walkthrough and they said, well, we still have a few things in the house. Well, it turned out they had quite a bit of things. So I have a big car. We started loading up my car. The other agent was sitting there and I thought, I'm sorry, we're moving as fast as we can. And we moved everything into my car that we could, including coolers of food. So we do what we have to do. We do what we have to do. And hopefully, we have reasonable people on the other end who will work with us. But again, make sure you have all this information up front because I had a situation many years ago where a buyer who was a great buyer and very flexible, but she wanted to make sure that seller was out of the house before before she moved in because she knew, some places the laws are very hard to she had a bad experience or she knew someone had a bad experience of moving the person out. She didn't want to deal with that. She said, I will close anytime, but you have to be out. Well, these people said, wait a minute, but where are we supposed to go? In the meantime, the other people aren't letting us put our stuff in. And here's the thing, guys. This is stuff you want to talk to your agent about if you're on the other. I wasn't on the seller side, I was on the buyer side. But if you're on the seller side, if you're the seller, you want to have a conversation up front about this. What is your situation? So, for example, there have been situations where I'm on the seller side and there are multiple offers, and we will take the offer that allows the buyer to stay for an extra 30 days or 60 days. And you have to, let me emphasize, have to do negotiate this all up front because once it's already negotiated, the buyer's already has in their mind that you're moving out, and then going to ask is going to be a lot harder. Okay. If it's all asked up front, then that's part of the deal. So please take your time, understand the options before you make any decisions because you don't want last minute. Again, it's all about, I think, if the more information you have up front, the better to make decisions. Anything else?
Yes, thank you. We have one last question. Who is not a good fit for buying before they sell?
Um, that's a good question. Who is not a good fit to buy before they sell? I really, um, I don't have an answer for that. Again, I think it's each person has their individual risk, um, averse, a risk. What's the word I'm thinking of? Um, anyway, so everyone has the different volume of risk they want to take. Let's put it that way. And that is for you to decide. And if you're buying before you're selling and you are not risk averse, that's what the word I was looking for, risk averse, you might want to think about the fact that if you bought and your house isn't sold yet, then what happens if it doesn't sell? Can you rent it out? Are you comfortable with that? I mean, we can't guarantee that the house is going to sell. I can't guarantee anyone's house is going to sell. I've been doing this a long time. All houses ultimately sell for the right price in the right condition in the right location, but we cannot guarantee, and I cannot guarantee how much money you're going to make, okay? So if you are afraid of any risks, then you have to be very careful. I will say also, and another option is if you want to sell your house and have some peace of mind and take your time to buy a new house, then you might want to consider a short-term solution. I've had people stay with their parents for a couple months or their kids for a couple months, or a sister. I've had people stay in an Airbnb so that they don't feel rushed to move into the next house and they feel comfortable that they sold their last house, they got their proceeds, and now they can comfortably move on. So, again, this is why it's important to have a strategy up front. Any other questions?
We have no other questions, Jordana. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mia. I really appreciate you. And it's interesting. I see my color of my face keeps changing. That's kind of fun. All right. Well, you guys know how to find me, 412-657-3555. And I want to wish everybody a happy Passover and a happy Easter and a happy, if you're a mom, spring break, because I'll tell you, it's nice. I haven't had to get up and take my son to school at 6:30 in the morning. So everybody enjoy. All right. Thank you so much. And you have a wonderful day.